So we got Tim Schwartz on Into the Mix. Yeah, take two. So Tim's you're on your way to see a band tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to see Glenn Hughes.
Glenn Hughes.
Glenn Hughes up at Penn's Peak.
Great ukulele player.
Yes.
Yeah.
He does a lot of yodeling too.
He's up there in age, right?
Yeah. Well, he's just turned 67. I think
67. No
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out all about you in the next 15 minutes or less. Because YouTube
And
hates
there's
me.
about 2 minutes worth of stuff.
I think we could find more in 2 minutes. This is kind of cool. I haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a long time.
You don't love me like you used to.
I used to buy a lot of stuff off you guys. Off you.
Yeah, at the old
At the old place.
At the old
place
joint.
which we won't mention.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, I don't have any animosity. You know what I mean? They do their thing. I do my thing.
I haven't been up there, and it's quite a few years.
Yeah.
I bet maybe 18 years since I've been up there.
The last time you were there was 18 years?
Yeah,
No.
whenever you were there.
No, 2004 I left.
Well,
But I didn't
maybe it wasn't that long then.
Well, it could.
Maybe about like 14 years.
No. First instrument you played, how old were you?
The first instrument I played was a saxophone.
Really?
I was 8 years old.
Was it
8 or 9
school?
years old. Yep, school.
Did you pick it or was it picked?
Yeah, it was probably picked for me at the time. I wanted to do guitar, but I couldn't. My parents couldn't afford it at the time. So, kind of the saxophone was a hand-me-down from my uncle.
Okay.
Which I think to this day, I think he still has that saxophone.
Really?
Yes.
So you gave it back to him? So it stays
Yeah,
back.
it only lasted maybe a month. I couldn't play Chuck Mangione on it.
Listen, I'm going to tell one tidbit of myself real quick that nobody knows. I played trumpet.
See, but that's a noble instrument.
For 3 days. The teacher says, you have no clue what you're doing, and handed me a pair of drumsticks. I'm like, yeah.
I didn't make it that far. I was in the bedroom. I tried to play, Chuck Mangione, and it wasn't working.
From playing the saxophone, you switched to guitar next?
Yeah. It was. My dad had. My mom had purchased a acoustic guitar from my dad from Sears. It was a Decca. You remember them guitars?
I don't remember Decca.
It was It was a Sears guitar. It might have been like the really cheapo guitar at the time.
Now, I think I know the answer to this,
Yes.
but I want to see if I'm right. What was your influence to want to play guitar?
Oh man. Oh, that was Ace Frehley, obviously.
Kiss.
It was Kiss. I mean,
Kiss.
it had to be Kiss. I mean, at that time. But I was self-taught.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I didn't learn from anybody. Because we had moved to Texas, and my dad had this acoustic for a while. My dad's also a bass player. Been in a lot of bands around the area. And when we moved to Texas, I just picked up this acoustic guitar, and a friend of ours next door had a book on how to do all the chords and stuff. And I sat on a picnic bench outside
And learned the
learned
chords.
all the chords by myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I was teaching a friend of mine, for those that are watching down there, if you're
Free
watching this
lessons
in
in
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, because I got friends in Texas. A friend of mine in Texas was also learning how to play guitar also.
Oh.
So I was teaching him the
As you
chords
were learning.
too. So we were learning together.
That's awesome.
Then he'd come over and say, hey man, I learned how to play a bar chord. And then we learned the very first song we ever learned, Rock You Like a Hurricane.
I can't believe you said that. You want to know something? Oh, man. Maybe I am interviewing myself. The funniest thing is the first bar chord that I stumbled onto was Rock You Like a Hurricane. I'll never forget it. Me and Ray Weiland were hanging out up in my room, and all of a sudden I freaking figure out Rock You Like a Hurricane. It opened up a whole new world for us.
Oh, yeah. As soon as we learned how to play that, dun-dun-now, dun-dun-dun-dun,
I can't believe you said that.
And then
Wow.
it was Flight of Icarus from Iron Maiden.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started guitar then?
I was late 13, 14 years old.
What was your first band? And do you remember the name?
Yes, Black Diamond, I named it.
Yeah,
After
obviously
Kiss, but it wasn't a Kiss tribute band.
Right.
It was the very first band that I did and a buddy of mine played drums. He was only 13. He could play everything of Iron Maiden.
Wow.
Everything. I mean, the guy was a phenomenal drummer. He still is a phenomenal drummer.
Do you remember your first playing out gig? And where was it?
My very first, I call it my very first playing out gig. I played a birthday party.
Lots
For a
of
friend
those.
of mine, I think he was his 16th birthday, and it was just three of us at the party. We played the party, but it was a playing out gig. He said to us, "Hey, come on over. We'll have the jam session in my house," and that was
That was your
we
first.
were playing for him for his birthday.
Do you remember your first paying gig?
That was with my dad.
Really?
We were in like kind of a country southern rock band in Texas.
Okay.
Thunderfoot in the Shadow.
Thunderfoot in the Shadow.
Thunderfoot in the Shadow. I won't go into details of exactly because
You're-
we might offend people on here. But
Listen, if I don't offend a
the
shop
drummer
here-
is a friend of mine on Facebook, so he'll see this. He'll have a good chuckle out of it. But yeah,
I don't offend people with the stuff I say. I swear constantly in the
we
store.
played VFWs and stuff,
Yeah.
but down in Texas.
Do you remember how much it was that you got paid?
I think my first gig was like $40, and I think the last gig I just played not long
Was
ago was like
$40.
$40.
So there has been no difference in the 20 to 30 year span and
no, it's the
everybody's
same.
playing.
I love
yeah.
the opening. I love opening for other people. It puts less stress on me, especially
Sure.
you walk in there with your little amp, hook up, you're
You
ready
have to
to
worry
roll.
about production, all that stuff.
But after a while, you want to kind of see something. At least the club call you back and start booking some shows.
So you were in various bands,
Oh yeah.
including tributes.
Before I go any further, though, my dad was in one of the first tribute bands
And who was
ever.
that?
It was Brotherhood down in Lebanon.
Brotherhood.
Yeah, and they were called Brotherhood, and they did Chicago
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I would have loved to have seen
in the
that.
70s. It was the late 70s.
I would have loved to have seen that.
Awesome. I can still remember it being, that's one of the things that influenced me too to be a musician, was going and seeing my dad play. My dad played bass in this band, and sang.
What was your longest running band then that you've actually played in?
Stormfront.
Stormfront? And who was in that?
That was Stevie Troutman, Aaron Cucker, Chris Palm, and Rodney. The first run was Stormfront. I went back to Stormfront afterwards with my brother then. Yeah, there's a lot. You think I'm bad? Wait until you get Andy Adams up here. He can give you a whole lowdown.
Jeez, I can't wait to get him up here. That's a lifetime
He'll have.
story event.
We sit down and talk about this all the time because I was in bands with him too.
Yeah, but I
did
wouldn't
2
even know how
bands
to
with
interview him. Would I interview him as a guitar player or as a bass player? He's done it all.
He's done it all. Yeah, I played bass also. I played bass in Stormfront.
I mean,
for
I
about
played both. But
2 years.
man, I still don't consider myself a front man.
I prefer not to be a front man.
Yeah, I'm cool. to
I
say I'm
like
a
standing back and letting everybody else take that role and just play.
Well, I don't like to just stand there. As
No.
I like to move the
I
whole
like
time.
making eye contact with people. I like getting out front, right up in your face.
But I don't like doing it as a
But-
front man.
Exactly. I don't like being up there and singing. And like my brother he's just awesome with doing that. He knows how to react with the people.
Mm-hmm.
He always did. I still try to get him in the band. He has this voice that he can, and plus he can do that. He just has the knack to do that. He knows how to come up with things right off the,
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
So
and
you-
he could do it. And I get all tongue tied and yeah.
So
And
you did.
I was in Cold Gin.
So you were in Cold Gin,
Yes.
and you played Paul Stanley.
Yes.
Now, that was the makeup era you did?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
With
With the boots and
I was coming out to see you guys. I think it was at the Coal Hole.
that was probably the time Eric came out to see us.
Might have been. I was trying to remember if it was you or Eric that was playing the part, but I thought it was you.
It might have. It depends on when it was.
Huh. Well, this is.
I was in '93.
So you were telling a story. You came into K&S, and I was behind the counter. And how did it go? Because it's so. I know it had to happen because it's something I would do.
I was in K&S, and you were on the phone talking to somebody, and you had something to do. I can't remember what you had to do. And you said to the guy, "Hey, you want to talk to Paul Stanley?" Here. I'm dead serious. Paul Stanley is standing right here, right now, and you handed me the phone.
I can just picture myself doing that.
And I'm there talking to the guy on the phone, and he's like, "Hey man, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Well, he would have no clue.
No.
We're talking, what, 90s? So your first guitar was an acoustic guitar.
Yes, a Decca.
What was your first electric guitar?
That was an Ibanez Custom.
I used to have guitars, the same exact model in 5 different colors. I bought 36 guitars and basses at K&S before I started to work there. I used to drive Dave nuts.
Oh man.
So,
yeah. Yeah, so the electric, yeah, then I had that for a while, then sold it. What else did I buy then? I've had a Series 10.
Oh my God. There's another
Which Andy Adams has.
So what's your current gear lineup then that you're playing with now?
I have a 2014 or 2012, that's right. I have to ask my son. He knows the years of these guitars.
That's why you
I have a 2012 and a 2009 Les Paul. I have 2 of them.
And your main amp is what?
Marshall.
So your current thing that you're doing now is what?
Right now it's mainly a project. We haven't really settled on a name yet. It's with my son, Justin, Craig Zuber, and Andy Adams. That's what we're doing right now.
And who's writing the music?
All of us.
Everybody.
The songs that we're doing right now were written like a little over 20 years ago. My son wasn't even born when we wrote them. And we just never got around to recording them.
That's what I call a long process to write a song.
And, well, it's been a process. It's we'd start writing and then we go through it, and it was just always the same 3 guys. I mean, it was always Andy, Craig, and myself. We had other people coming in and out over the years to help us form these songs, and we pretty much had the basis of them,
Well, that's cool though that you get to actually play with your son. Like you got to play with your dad.
And he's probably one of the best bass players I ever played with. I will say that.
Nice.
I rank him up there with Jeff.
And it's recorded, so he can't take it back. What did you release that you recorded original-wise that people might remember?
Oh, boy. I've released a couple things over the years now, but lately it was Orion with Jeff and Ed.
Okay.
We did an original song. I just released that again this past week on SoundCloud.
It's on SoundCloud. And what's
Yeah,
it
just
under?
one song. It's called Orion.
But what's it under on SoundCloud for the band?
Retro Junkies.
Retro Junkies.
Yeah. I think it's the Retro Junkies or Retro Junkies. And I love it. It's one of them songs, if you know Ed Burke,
I've met him.
and the kind of drummer that he is.
He hits heavier than most
And he's just a
drummers.
phenomenal drummer.
I know I'm going to have to edit some of this out, but Ed Burke probably hits like the dude from the Bullet Boys,
Yes.
where he just crushes everything that he
Absolutely.
hits.
I had to wear
But they hit
earplugs.
that hard. Yeah, I remember the first time I was around Ed.
But
and him
I
playing.
love it. I love that. Especially if they do it and they're solid with it. Like Zuber's the same way. Zuber's really a solid, heavy hitter. But that's it, you feel it. I got that when I was in Cold Gin. All the other bands I was in, the guys were great drummers. But when I got in Cold Gin with Chico was like literally when he hit the drum kit, it would like fly out from
I
in front
played
of
with
him.
a drummer where we used to put cinder blocks in front of his kick.
Yeah, I mean, he was just a monster. And when he'd hit, you saw, veins and stuff sticking out of his arm and everything. That's how hard he was hitting, And when I first got in that, then every drummer after that, I felt needed to be like that. Now I'm trying to look for just a nice, quiet, cozy drummer.
Yeah, that's never going to happen again. You got Zoobs in there with you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let you guys take off for your concert you're headed to.
Yes.
Mr. Tim Schwartz on Into the Mix. Thanks for coming on.
Not a problem.
It's been quite a while since I seen you.
Oh, it's been a long time. We'll have to pop up again.
Yeah. Next time you'll have more experience than we'll have to do your song. You'll have 4 or 5 more songs under your belt and we'll be able to drag you on.
We got, 7 songs? And then we're writing some more now.
Like that, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yep. Not a problem.
Appreciate it.
It was fun.
That's it.